It is August 9th, 2021. I'm Andy, and this is the Minorcan Mullet Report from the Golden Ray Rec site in St. Simons Sound. Made it back out to the site today, and this is on an incoming tide. I want to show you guys. This is near the red number 20 buoy, which is just west of the wreck, and this is what we're seeing today. Now, this isn't all the way across the water. This is in a streak that at sometimes is about 100 feet wide, and then in other areas it's about 300 feet wide. And this was coming off the wreck. The environmental barrier on the north side of the wreck has been removed to get ready for the weight shedding operations that have to take place before the ship can be raised anymore. And we don't know if this is still coming off the ship or whether this is residual oil that's coming off of everything that got contaminated inside the ship, but it's still coming off. And it was drifting back towards Jekyll Island and towards the bird nesting area, Bird Island, in the Sound. And it was in this area, it was pretty thick, still in there, still coming off. And I guess what we're going to see here is this continue until they can get it up where they can get it on the dry dock. Again, I think the section is, there's still so much weight on it because of silting that they don't want to pick it up anymore, fearing that there could be even a larger catastrophe if the lugs were to separate from the top of the ship or something along those lines, or something happened with this section and it come crashing back down into the water. But looking at these pictures, we can definitely see the oil that's really caking, and we got to think that everything along that line inside that section is probably about this same sort of condition. So there's a good bit of material that is covered with the oil and coated with it, and we're probably going to see worse before we see better. The unfortunate part of this is the situation is that it's going to continue to come off. Now, the guys, when we got out, we didn't see the boom boats. We had a thunderstorm that developed probably just after noon today, between noon and 1 p.m. And I'm sure that those guys got off the water. Being out on the water, and most of those boats are metal. They are aluminum construction. It's just not a good idea, and we certainly understand that. The guy's safety is paramount. We don't want anybody to get hurt in this operation, and so we certainly understand why they would have left the area. But we're still having a good bit of product. There were a couple of the safety boat and the bear cubs were still. Of course, these boats they're contained. They're not an open boat, so they were out there along with the Winnie, still on site today. We were there just about crew change time, so these guys, these boats don't stay out there all the time. They've got to go in and change the crews on their regular shifts. So they were leaving, and you can kind of see here how much of the ship still has to be raised before they can get the dry dock system underneath it. Originally thought the dry dock systems were going to be submerged and pushed up underneath there, but from what we've seen on the dry docks, with the amount of equipment that's required to process these pieces. Once they get them on, there is equipment that's on the dry docks, and I guess it's paramount that those pieces stay dry. So the dry dock's really going to remain floating, and the piece has to actually break water and come on up before they can get anything underneath it. But here we can see the sheen product that's still coming off the ship. It's pretty easy to see in the water. When you get a little bit of ripple, and then you see those areas where it's really smooth looking, that's going to be areas that are carrying the oil away from the wreck site. Now, they did have one of the current busters, and I think this is one of the ones that they're working on the site with the two boats. And you can see just how much product this thing has been processing, quite a bit. And this thing will form like a big horseshoe, and they'll go through and kind of grab that oil, and it'll all collect in this area of the current buster. And it looks like it has been pretty effective from the aerial shots that we've seen from Unified Command. This thing does work. It's just getting it over the site. Now, over the shore cleanup guys, it looks like they've installed some additional barrier type material around some of the rocks they've been working on in some of the beach area. This is in front of the Sea Island golf course. This was new today. It's I'm sure up there to try to protect those rocks. And here, looking at this, is just some of the marsh grass that was took the brunt of the release last week. I'm already starting to see it really starting to brown out. Looks like this stuff, these pockets of marsh grass are probably going to have to, it's going to be a while before we see this stuff come back, and I'm sure this stuff is probably going to continue to wither away and die, and it's going to be a little bit before we can get this area of marsh reclaimed. That's going to do it for the report today. I wish we had better news. Thanks for watching. We're going to ask if you haven't done it yet to hit that subscribe link, hit the thumbs up, continue with the comments. We're hoping to get back on the comments. We're still thinking about you guys, and most of all, we want you guys to stay safe out there.